Welcome to the 52nd episode of Cougs on Cougs. This is Jess. I'm Mary.
Hello.
We're celebrating 1 year. 52 weeks, that's a year, right?
We did it. Whole year. Wow.
Yes.
I don't even think that when we started this, we thought we would make it that long.
No. So thank you to everyone who's watched To Vanquish the Fall for supporting us. It's just, It's been a fun ride. We're going to tell you about an exciting giveaway we're doing to celebrate our 1 year anniversary.
An exclusive giveaway.
Giveaway? Not getaway, just
getaway.
giveaway. Sorry.
I wish. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Maybe our 10 year. But no, some of the stuff you can't get anywhere else.
It's true. So. It is exclusive. But before that, we're going to start with our notable quotable, as always.
As you know, yesterday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we saw a few quotes from him, but this is one that Coach Lacombe retweeted. It says, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope."
I wonder if he had a double message with that, tweeting that out.
Probably. Never lose hope. Even when it comes to basketball.
We're looking at you, people melting down on Twitter. So let's just tell them some of the stuff we're going to give. So it's our anniversary, so we're celebrating. So this isn't a contest like usual. We're just,
We're just giving you stuff.
Yes. And what we're going to do, it's been a year. So we want you to tweet us, Facebook, email, comment on our YouTube channel. However you want to do it. Just tell us your favorite episode from the year of Cougs on Cougs, favorite a guest segment that you enjoyed, favorite segment, just anything, your favorite thing about Cougs on Cougs in general. If you send us some feedback, then we will enter you in a random drawing, and if your name is picked, you will win.
We have a couple t-shirts, BYU football t-shirts.
That you won't get anywhere else.
We've got a lanyard and a wristband thing. We even have golf tees.
They're really cute.
Some stickers and a BYU football.
Yes, so all you have to do, tell us your favorite moment in a year of Cougs on Cougs. Happy anniversary to us.
Yes.
So now we're going to start the show, also sticking with this anniversary theme.
The same way that we started it a year ago.
Yes.
By talking to Steve Pierce at PostJimmer on Twitter.
Yes, so here's that to check in on the temperature of BYU hoops.
As this is our 52nd episode, it's been a full year, and so we wanted to have back our very first guest, which is Steve Pierce, and he's joining us from Washington, D.C. again.
Welcome, Steve.
Welcome
Hello,
back.
ladies. How are you?
We're great.
Wonderful. We are nothing if not nostalgic, right?
That's true. Especially
well, congratulations. I have to say, congratulations on your 52nd episode. A full year. That is, every podcast I've ever done myself has not lasted more than about 3 or 4 episodes. So this is a true accomplishment, no matter which way you slice it. So congratulations.
Well,
Thank you.
It's partially due to folks like you who come on our little show. So
yes, and give us our name. Let's not forget.
That's true.
Yeah, it was my little piece of the puzzle.
Thank us, and if you hate it,
blame Steve.
Blame Steve.
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So obviously we're having Steve, who is at PostJimmer, on to talk about our basketball team. Our wonderful, fabulous, frustrating roller coaster of a basketball team. So instead, in place of couch coaching for a specific game, because I refuse to talk about the San Diego game, we're going to just do a kind of mid-season checkup with Steve. So we're going to let the expert here do the talking on what you think is going wrong at this point in the season and what you think is going well.
So, what's going wrong? What's going wrong is that we have a team that is incredibly inexperienced. And I know that the expectations were very high for this team. It's an incredibly talented team. I don't think anyone questions that these guys individually have talent and ability to play the game of basketball at a very high level. But they're also very, very young. And yes, I know they're post-mission, and that means some of them are like 30 years old or something like that, according to the ESPN announcers. But they still, they haven't played basketball in 2 years, a lot of them. Even the ones who have, like Nick Emery or Braden Shaw, haven't played that much Division I basketball, and it's just a big step up from high school or from not playing any ball at all. So I think it's going to be what we've seen is an incredibly long learning curve, and that's showed itself in several problems. I don't think they've really learned how to play together. I think injuries have really played a big part in that, and never really having the full team that they expected. Elijah Bryant being out for a long time was really problematic. And then the defense, I guess we could say goes beyond experience. I think inexperience plays a role in it. But it's just a little bit more of the same in terms of BYU's struggles to defend consistently. There's nights when they're great. And I think on the whole, the stats say they're a little bit better than last year. And there's nights when they're great. And then there's nights like San Diego when they're awful, and like UVU when they're awful. And that type of consistency, I think, hopefully it comes with experience, but hopefully it comes also with maybe just a little bit more focus and a change in mindset, which I think would be helpful for the program generally on the defensive end. I think the scheme plays a role. I'm not often critical of Dave Rose, but this year one thing I would be critical of is his lack of kind of mixing it up on the defensive end. For example, the St. Mary's game, down the stretch in the second half, they played almost exclusively 1-3-1. And I love the 1-3-1. Don't get me wrong. Last year, I was in love with the 1-3-1. I thought they should have played it more. The problem is the 1-3-1 is a junk ball defense, and you only can really play it effectively if you mix it in with other things. And BYU, I don't think, really has the personnel to play the 1-3-1 effectively this year because they lack that kind of long, athletic guy like Kyle Collinsworth, or even Zach Sellius was last year, who can play that top spot in the 1-3-1 and cover a lot of ground and cut down on passing lanes. And so we really miss those guys, and it makes the 1-3-1 less effective. And when you play it consistently, you're playing at every possession and not mixing in anything else, it makes it really easy to figure out. And that's what we saw with St. Mary's. They just carved it up. And I think you saw it a little bit better in the two games since then, trying to go to man, trying to go to the 2-3 matchup zone, which actually I think is a really good defense for this team, given their kind of the personnel that they have. But I would like to see them kind of do more. I actually think in the second half of the St. Mary's game, they got two into the 2-3 and sat in that zone, even though San Diego's shooting really, really well from the outside, and they just kept letting them shoot threes because that's what his own defense does. And really, I thought that we were the more athletic team, and we should have been in a man-to-man, extending out, trying to pressure them on the perimeter, and relying on Eric and Yoli to kind of protect the basket if anyone got around us. So I've been a little mystified by kind of the defensive schematic choices, and I don't often criticize Coach Rose because he's a very smart guy and he's much smarter than me. But that's something that I'd like to see, maybe get a little bit better as we move forward, and mixing up the defenses and really matching the defenses to the situations as they evolve. And I think that's something to watch.
Okay, so should we move on to happier things?
Yeah, there's been a lot of doom and gloom on Twitter recently.
No, I haven't noticed any of that. I thought it was
wow, well,
flowers and
you're missing out.
Puppies, and
everyone's super happy.
So I want to know what's kind of been maybe a pleasant surprise for you this season. Maybe something that's perhaps further along than you thought it might be at this point.
And just what we're doing well, because there are things that we're doing well, contrary to popular belief.
Right now.
There's a lot. Look, there's a lot. This is a young team. There's a lot to still be excited about this team. I think that people's optimism has been crushed out of them because their expectations were so wildly unrealistic to begin with about what this
wildly unrealistic. I mean, people I think thought that we would go to the Final Four next year.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing: BYU has been past the first weekend of the tournament twice. In its entire history. All the years we've played basketball, we've been past the first weekend in the tournament 2 times. Both times, as our friend at Vanquish the Foe, Keith Shirts, often reminds me, both times BYU had the National Player of the Year on their team. Those were the 2 best teams that BYU has ever fielded, and the best we could do in one instance was get to the Elite Eight, and the other instance was get to the Sweet 16. If that is the ceiling, that is not the floor. And so if you're out there thinking that you're going to go to multiple Final Fours because you've got a bunch of top 100 talent, it's not a realistic expectation. Now, if you get a good team, maybe 2 years from now, say, and you get into the second weekend of the tournament, once you get in there, it all kind of, maybe it depends on matchups, and maybe you get farther than we've gotten before.
Sure. from there.
But that is not what you should expect. That is gravy. So it's the expectations were completely unrealistic. And I think it's caused people to overlook a lot of what's good about this team. I think Eric Mika's development after coming off not playing basketball for 2 years has been incredible. Yeah, Eric Mika has been a revelation. He's been one of the best, most reliable players in the country. He's one of the probably 5 best big men in the country. And I think that's incredible. And nobody really expected him to come back that quickly after not playing basketball for 2 years. I think Yoli Childs, the way he's acquitted himself as a true freshman who was playing high school ball a couple of months ago, has been great. His impact has been beyond what I expected. And I had pretty high expectations for Yoli just because I think he has a real bright future. So I think what he's been able to do and what he's shown so far, even as a very young player, is very encouraging, especially as he continues to grow, considering he has 3 more years left to play. I think that TJ Haws kind of started slow, but these last couple weeks has really come on and started to find his role as he's kind of figured out the college game. He's looking more confident in kind of with the ball in his hands, both as a scorer and as a passer. He's shooting a really high percentage. So I think there's a lot of really bright spots on an individual level, which you would expect. And, some of those guys have bad games, which you also expect with freshmen and sophomores because it's a roller coaster. They go up, they go down. They probably play better at home. They're going to play worse on the road. And the really big task for moving forward is going to be, we have all these great individual talents. They're starting to figure things out for themselves. The challenge is now to figure things out together. And I think that's something they're working on. I think it's going to be a process. I think you're probably not going to see the results of that until next year. So whether or not BYU makes the tournament this year, they're probably not. Just as a spoiler alert, BYU is probably not going to the NCAA tournament. That's not to say it can't happen. That's not to say it won't happen, but it probably won't happen. And that's okay. That's okay if BYU doesn't go to the NCAA tournament this year. It's okay that we can watch these guys grow and figure it out because this is an investment. We're making a down payment on the future this year. And yes, it's disappointing that they're not going to make the tournament. I know people's expectations weren't met, but we're investing in something a lot longer here, longer term, seeing these guys figure it out, learn how to play Division I college basketball, grow together as a team and as a unit on both sides of the floor. So don't throw away the season. Don't get cynical and angry, and just enjoy the ride. It's okay. That's the mantra for right now. It's okay.
I think that when you lose tough games like San Diego and UVU, people just look for someone to blame, whether it's Rhodes or who else has been taking
Matt Carlino.
I think really he is the one to blame for this specifically. So
yes, Matt Carlino is over there in Italy, and he's found some Italian witch doctor that he's sent to curse and put hexes on this team, and that is why they're losing. Because no matter what, no matter how irrational, it's always Matt Carlino's fault.
And I'm worried about ending on a sad note, but I think we do want you to grade the season, and we'll temper this. We'll keep this with your realistic expectations in mind, because I think Steve is one of the more level-headed fans at this point. So hit us. A, B, C, D, F.
I'm going to give this season a big incomplete because it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. And to pass judgment on this group or these players at this point is, I don't know if it's fair. I don't know if it's productive. These guys are very much a work in progress, and they will continue to get better. They will continue to frustrate you at times. They will continue to have bad games. They'll also have some good games. And that's going to continue. And it will continue into probably early next year. And, it's the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune, as Elton John would tell us.
Well, thank you for coming on and being our guest of our 1-year show and our first show ever.
Yes.
We appreciate all of your takes, Steve.
Well, anytime, ladies. I've got many takes, and congrats again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Huge thank you to Steve for coming on again.
Always.
Being Our first guest of our 1 year show.
His basketball takes are great. I think we forgot to mention he's a Vanquish the Foe contributor. Posts great stuff to the blog. He's kind of heading up basketball over there. Does the power ranking. So make sure you check him out.
And I don't know if you heard in our interview too that he came up with our name. We were struggling about a year ago, and he had a suggestion for us. So thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Okay, talk of the town. So first thing up this week is that Eric Mika, my favorite to talk about, was on the all-week team for NCAA March Madness.
So not the WCC team.
No, this is all of NCAA.
That's a huge honor.
And he deserves it. The kid is killing it.
Yeah, he does. So we don't want to talk about the score of the San Diego game or much that transpired, but Johnny Manziel was there.
For some reason.
Like, can we think of a feasible reason?
I know. Did anybody even see a plausible connection to that? Or was he just like, let's go see basketball?
No, the announcers didn't say anything. I didn't see anything on Twitter. I know my husband Jordan said maybe he was trying to get on the Chargers. Maybe no one told him.
Oh, it's so random. This was from
Speaking
Brian.
of unwelcome guests at our game. Okay, Johnny Manziel is a lot more welcome than this guy.
That's true. At your classes on Twitter. There's always one.
There's always one.
There's always at least one.
Did I talk about the one time when we went to the game in DC this year and there was a Utah fan there? Washington, DC.
Of course there was.
And I'm pretty sure Utah was playing at the same time.
That's even better.
Like, get out.
Guy in a Utah hat. I'm sure he was relishing that loss. Thank you.
So this next one comes from @yo_Geertz. This says, class acts taking time with my bro-in-law after the San Diego game. And not just the San Diego game, the San Diego loss, which was a very hard loss for them. They all came out of the locker room very dejected. If it was me, I'm walking straight out of that pavilion and not looking back as fast as I can. But they still took the time to take a picture with this fan, which is really sweet.
And even smiled. Well, except for Nick, but...
He did the best he could.
Good job, good effort.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Randy Shamo, good friend Randy, call me crazy, but if doing something for fun, like cheering for a team, is making me more upset than happy, I stop spending so much time on it.
Randy, we're not going to call you crazy. We're going to call you a genius. We mentioned it with Steve. The Twitter meltdown after the San Diego loss was pretty epic. And you know what? If it is making you more unhappy than happy, then don't do it. The last thing we wanted to mention for basketball is something hilarious. I think we can all agree it was hilarious that happened to Jimmer on Sunday. I woke up to this.
Cougar Nation needed this after San Diego's loss.
And so these tweets were coming from Jimmer's account. So the first tweet said, "I'm sorry, fans. I have a bad news. I didn't misspeak. I have a bad news." And then he says, "I will quit basketball because of my BF. And yes, I'm gay. Hashtag goodbye, Jimmer."
The hashtag's my favorite
Best
part.
hashtag. Okay? Jimmer has the most boring account. He never does interesting hashtags. The most interesting hashtag he did was when he did hashtag boring Jimmer. That was the best.
Throwback.
And then 2 more tweets. He said, "My account is not hacked." Just to, prove,
sad face.
Make it believable. Yeah. And I'll talk about that in video soon. Well, obviously, in the meantime...
I'm bummed we're not going to get that video.
And the tweets were also coming from Germany. There were just so many aspects about it that were, like, unbelievable. That's why it's funny. Because
it's so funny.
It's not, like, a sad thing that happened to him. There's no negative repercussions. It's just some foreigner.
I thought the funniest thing was that Whitney saw it and was like, "He's in China and can't get on Twitter. I'm trying to fix it."
And she did. They got it taken care of within 15 minutes. And then another funny part of it, literally every aspect of this is hilarious, but Jimmer tweeted and then said, yes, his account was hacked, and no, he's not quitting basketball. I guess he didn't feel it necessary to address the other accusations there. Moving on to football. Tanner Mangum, so there's the NFL playoffs going on, and our quarterback tweeted out a quote from one of the announcers during the Packers-Cowboys game, which was phenomenal. He said, "It is never over when number 12 is out there on the field. I like the sound of that." Tanner, we like the sound of it.
I hope we hear that next season.
It's never over when number 12 is on the field. Everyone, remember that.
I think Tanner tweeting about games is kind of my favorite. Aubrey Reeves tweeted out, "And that's wraps you in the fall college football." And
She's out of control.
This is from the Oscars.
Like 2 years ago?
Yeah, Oscars 2 years ago. Anyway, big selfie of all the celebrities, but she's put in all BYU. So you've got Coach Satake, you've got Ty Detmer, you've got Jamal, Taysom,
You've got
Tanner.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. She always has the best Photoshop stuff. So
She is a Photoshop
I thought it was
wizard.
hilarious. Now that
Or
it's award season.
witch.
It
let's
was
be.
great. You want to take this one?
Okay, yes, this one comes from Jack DeMooney. And
Hashtag I am Jack.
yes. And all the coaches are out there hot on the recruiting trail. We've seen them in Tennessee. We've seen them, I don't even know. They've been everywhere. But Jack was in Texas, apparently. He said, came out of Walmart with my BYU jacket on in Irving, Texas, to 4 cops talking to a man. One of them looks at me and says, "Go Cougs." Suppose they could have looked at him and said a lot of things. So I think he was probably pretty happy with that.
Maybe he was an Oklahoma fan. Okay, Jim McMahon. I thought this was really awesome. Davey O'Brien has awarded Jim McMahon. He'll be the first one to receive both the National Quarterback Award in 1981 while he was playing, and then the Legends Award from the Davey O'Brien Foundation. So he tweeted out, "Well, this is pretty cool. Grateful to receive it." So that's a pretty big honor for our former quarterback.
Yep, and another well-deserved one.
I can't wait to see what he wears to that. We saw this on Twitter this week and thought we would make a segment out of it. So this is from Jake. We get great ideas from Jake. Thanks, Jake.
Inspiring.
He quote
And
tweeted,
Paul Feinbaum.
Yep, Paul Feinbaum. Hashtag describe your season in 5 words.
Is that 5 words?
No, it's 6.
Oh, dang. Anyway.
Whatever. Jake's was thank heavens for Jamal Williams.
Which is honestly the only one we really need.
9 wins, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and how many more if he played? We're not going to go there.
Yeah,
okay, another really good one. So Jake got a reply to that tweet from Cameron Hunsinger. He said, "So close, yet so far."
Yes, so we came up
I'm
with our own.
laughing so I don't cry.
It was still pretty good for that first season for that coaching staff, but
yes.
Yeah, we were close and whatever. Let's do yours first.
Okay, so yeah, we just came up with a few. The first one that came to my mind was the more Butch, the better.
We needed more Butch.
The healthier, the better.
Hurt, Butch.
Yeah.
That could have changed things too.
Yep.
So many what ifs. Kickers are definitely people too. How many games did we win because of our kickers?
More than we probably should have or would have, so
yes.
That's
thank you,
a good
Jake Oldroyd.
some of our
thank
season.
You to
Red Almond.
Oh gosh, I'm blinking.
And Andrew Mickelson. 3 winning field goals.
That's right.
3 different kickers. Okay, and then the last one we came up with, 8 more points and undefeated.
That was kind of the theme, I felt, that people were saying.
Oh, and people are still saying it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, if we just would have, got a few more points. All of our games were 3 points or less or whatever. So if we would have just scored that many more points, we would have been undefeated and whatever.
Yeah, really nice summation of the season. So there
I wish it were
are
that easy.
a few that we came up with. But this is a fun game. So tweet us describe your season in 5 words.
We want to hear them.
It was one for the books, that's for sure.
What's next? We have a basketball game at home Thursday, 7 o'clock at the Marriott Center against Pepperdine.
Better not lose it.
Yeah, and we're at home, so I don't expect those.
And
I expect
we
us
do
to play
tend
really
to
well.
bounce back. I mean, after the UVU game, and I'm sure we'll bounce back after the San Diego loss.
Don't quit on basketball. Just loyal, strong, and true.
Infinite hope, right? That's right. Quote. And then our second game of the week is on Saturday, that Saturday schedule, and it is an away game, so we are going to Pacific to play in Stockton.
And how do you watch that game, Mary?
Okay, the WTV announcers are my favorite thing. Even if I do have the Root channel that it's on, so it's going to be on Root, Northwest, CSN Bay Area, or the WTV, I'm watching on the WTV.
You like those announcers?
They were hilarious.
They have some good nicknames.
TJ Razzle Dazzle Haas. It's my favorite.
Like
they Elijah got a steal. Remember that inbounds play where Elijah got the steal?
Which is fantastic.
They were like, someone needs to call 911. They were just like... A lot of announcers, and I studied broadcast journalism, tend to get really boring and, say the same things over and over again. These announcers were so exciting to listen to, and they were hilarious. Anyway, so BYU Pacific, Saturday, that's 4 p.m. Utah time. I'm telling you, watch it on the W.TV, and you will not regret it.
It was pretty good. I streamed it, and
yeah, no problem.
Fantastic.
Better than our YouTube games, right?
Dude, don't even bring that up. Okay. Sponsors this week, we are brought to you by Tamatoa and Ben Patch, who are apparently hair twins.
Yes.
This is our tweet from Jesse Fiso.
Yes, we do mean the crab from Moana. That's who we mean when we say that.
Oh, if you haven't seen Moana, go see Moana. But
Yes, and our second sponsor, sticking with that aquatic theme, is the fake canoe that Peyton rode during the San Francisco game. That was some Monmouth level celebration.
good work, Peyton. I think we'll see some more challenges in the future.
Yes, hopefully so. Thank you,
From
Bonnie
Bonnie
Fuller. May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. Thanks for celebrating 1 year with us. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.